This is the Shawn Yankey Show.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack.
This episode of the Shawn Yankey Show is being brought to you by the support of viewers like me. We realize the importance of independent media and truth in this time of mass deceit and propaganda. We have decided to fight for and support it to keep it alive. You can help us in this fight for truth. Contribute at patreon.com/Shawn Yankey. Thanks for coming to the show. It'll begin soon.
Hey everybody, get in here. It is time once again for the Shawn Yankey Show. I am Shawn, and this is the Shawn Yankey Show. So you are in the right place at the right time. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So wherever you're at, please take part in the show, because what this is a comment-driven chat show. We hang out every weeknight at the same time, and we have a discussion. Now, we have different themes every night and things like that, and different main topics. Like tonight, we're going to discuss World's Fair, but we have a conversation based around the comment section every night. So please take part in the show. Even if you're here later on, still say hi and let us know you were here. But let me say hi to everybody that's here and get us started for the night. Hey, Lolly got first. Helen, Lee, Joan, Danon. Good to see you guys. Marie, Darlene. Hey, Ron. Sharing is caring. Ron is right. And we completely depend on you, the viewers, to get this out. So share it out. Invite your friends. Tell somebody about the show. Let them know about it. That's the best way to get us out, honestly, is word of mouth. I found that really works the best. And because we're heavily suppressed on every platform that we're on. And any views we fight for. I know you guys are warriors. I know you're sharing, and I know you're smashing them like buttons. But you have to smash them like buttons. Make sure wherever they're at, smash them shits. Hey, Dolores, good to see you in here. All right. Yes, smash them buttons. But we got a big show tonight. Like I said, we do themes every night of the week. And Wednesday night's theme is my favorite, conspiracy theories and chill. So we're going to talk conspiracy theories. That's what we're going to do for the whole show tonight. So come on in. If you dig conspiracy theories, you're in the right place. You're going to have a great time. But like I said, it's going to go off the comments. Now, I made a video for you. We're going to watch that later on. It's on the World's Fair, and specifically the earlier World's Fairs. And we'll watch that and discuss it. But we can talk about any conspiracies you want. Go ahead and bring up anything you'd like. Matter of fact, I'm going to launch the next topic poll. We choose each video's topic with a poll. So I'm going to launch the next one after the show. So give me any suggestions that you would like to see on the poll as a possible video that we'll make in the future. And I'll add them on there, and we'll get that poll up, and then we can vote to see what we're going to do next. Like I said, today's the World's Fair, so stick around for that. But let me see what you guys want to talk about. Anything at all. Anything that's going on. Anything at all. I just want to hang out and have a good time with y'all tonight talking conspiracies. So, hey, Jessica, good to see you. Ron's blisters are working out. See, now it's going to get even better. Now you won't have blisters on your fingers. Now you're going to be hard. Be button pressing machine before long. Well, I'll be sending you prayers too, because I know what that's like. And we all struggle with things like that. So I feel for you, and I'll be praying for you. So I hope you feel better soon. Yes, Lolly. Be a bubble. On Facebook, you can be a little bubble. It floats up the screen. It's fantastic. It's so neat. And I like seeing it. And not only do I enjoy it, it is good for the show. It helps us. See? Like any true warrior, you've earned your battle scars. And I respect you for it. Thank you. I love you too. Thanks for coming. And stick around. Like I said, I made a video for you. So this is a special episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We got an original video tonight. I'm really excited about showing it to you. Wait a minute. Did Rush Limbaugh die? I had not heard. Jessica smoking a new strain tonight. Van Helsing. You broke your favorite glass piece? What is Van Helsing? Is it sativa, indica? A hybrid? How does it taste? I want to know everything about it. Right? I'm excited. I love getting to play the videos for you guys. And I'm pretty proud of this one. This one's neat. And there's so much with the World's Fair that we could get into. Like, we'll probably talk about more stuff springing off the video that'll come up during it. But it leads down many other roads. There was a lot of ways I could have went. I went the way I went. But I know we'll revisit this topic. I was fascinated how much was here. This was wild. And it's going to lead us into other conversations for sure. But yeah, he's saying it's true. Rush Limbaugh died. Well, what happened? I didn't even know he was sick or anything like that. Oh, well, apparently he had stage 4 lung cancer. That's an awful way to go. I don't wish that on anybody. That's terrible. So yes, rest in peace, Rush. He did a good episode of Family Guy. You should always say nice things. And then also, he had a very good voice. I didn't know much about him. But I know he had a large following, and I'm sure a lot of people are pretty upset about that. And that is a horrible way to go. But I just realized something. I need to kick off the night. I have a mood setter for us. Remember? We have a little mood setting video to set the tone for Conspiracy Theory Night. This actually goes back to our roots. When we first started doing this show, Conspiracy Theories and Chill is one of the oldest things that I've done around here ever since I started streaming seriously. It was the first little show I put together. So it's probably about 4 years old. But we used to play an opening theme to it all the time. But we get copyright striked all the time. And I didn't figure it out. But I finally did. And I made us a cool little intro. So it's got a retro thing. Takes us back to our roots. And it's pretty neat. And this is just to get us started with tonight's theme, Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Yes, right? That is awesome. We're getting so fancy. But yes, it is tonight. Tonight is Conspiracy Theories and Chill, one of my favorite nights. And we're going to kick around anything, any conspiracy theory at all. Nothing's off limits. No train of thought is off limits. And we can go any direction you'd like. So it's my favorite night. Scott asked a question. How much of this is just brain exercises and how much is actual belief in something that there is no proof? Like, give me a percent. Well, I don't know what in the hell you're talking about. It sounds like jibber jabble. But tonight we're going to be watching a video that, are you asking me if I believe 100% in what's in the video? I don't understand what you're saying. You have to be more specific when you speak. But what we do on this show, just to try and answer your question, is discover and explore different conspiracy theories. Do I always agree with everything? No. But am I open to following different ideas and different thought patterns and experimental concepts? Yes. So I don't know how that would work out percentage wise, but that's my best attempt at answering that question. But that's what tonight is. And we're going to watch a video on the World's Fair in just a little bit that I made for you, a short video. It's actually going to focus on very early World's Fairs. I actually only covered 4 different ones, but I'm going to go through my take, what I took away from looking into these early World's Fairs. Hopefully it'll get a conversation going and get us talking about some other stuff. There is something I hope it gets us talking about that could be a deep rabbit hole, but this could be fun. And like I said, anything else, anywhere else this makes you think of or sparks a memory, feel free to bring it up. Plus, bring up any conspiracy theories that you'd like to see covered in the future, just for ideas for the poll, because we're going to put the new poll up for the next video topic after the show. But question everything always. Jessica says, I like that. JFK Jr., whether or not he's alive, we can kick that around for a little bit. Now, I have always felt, and I still do, just to start it off, that JFK Jr. was a victim of the Clinton body count. He got in the way of Hillary. He was going to win that Senate seat, and they got him out of the way, is what I think happened. But there is a theory, and I've seen a lot of stuff about it, that JFK Jr. actually faked his death. Now, again, Scott will probably want to know, I don't fully believe this one. I see the sense in it. He was in danger. It would make sense, but I don't know. I don't know that I've seen enough with it. The pictures I've seen for who is supposed to be him, the sightings, they don't seem to match up for me enough, I don't think. Not like John Cotner and Elvis, nothing like that. Sometimes there's a resemblance, but I don't know. I feel like he was taken out because he was a threat, and that's what they would do. So that's what I think about JFK Jr., if that made any sense. But hey, we can put that on the poll and we can go into it in depth, and maybe I find something. You know what I mean? That's what we do on the polls. And I always leave them open-ended, so you can add any topic that you would like to see covered. If you don't see it on the poll, add it, because World's Fair, that was added and it won. So you can add anything you want. The Anunnaki, we've kind of covered them multiple times, actually, but I do need to do a video on just the Anunnaki. That would be cool. That would be a really cool topic to get into. Joan wants stone walls. I'm putting it on this poll myself, but she usually adds it, and it would be a fantastic topic to cover. There are these weird stone walls everywhere, and could be an interesting rabbit hole. Samuel said the snow is not like any snow I've ever seen. A buddy of mine at work was telling me about this. He said it's like flour or something, not like regular snow. It's super deep here and can be blown away with a leaf blower. My buddy Ricky was telling me that you can't set it on fire. I haven't tried this myself, but that it turns black instead of melting. He said he's done it twice. That's messed up. I need to go out there while there's snow on the ground and try to burn it. Samuel is a believer. And look, he may have just been bringing it up to put it on the poll. Either way, we can look into it if it wins. Because that's how we choose. I used to pick them myself, but then I was like, nope, I'm making them for you guys. So we should be democratic and involved in how we choose our topics like we do everything else. So I felt like that was the best way to do it. HAARP weather manipulation. I put HAARP on the poll a few times. But yeah, there is actually many of those. That is just one of these devices that heat the ionosphere for weather manipulation. And, you know, why do they have all these? For that express purpose, if they're not going to use them. You know, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They'll let you know they have this. They let you know they've been doing cloud seeding since the 70s. But then at the same time, they'll tell you it's ridiculous. We've been doing it ever since then, but we don't do it now. Why would we do it now? And then sometimes they'll tell you they do it now. And they'll be like, oh, we didn't say that. That's not what we meant. Jessica said, I don't have a microwave, but I've heard a rumor that the snow sparks in the microwave as if there's metal present. Can anyone confirm having done this? Now I have 2 science experiments I need to do. I need to microwave some snow, and I need to try to burn it. Tracy said he's telling the truth. His son did it too with a torch and very little water when it did start to melt. What in the hell? Marie says she saw a TikTok of a guy who tried melting it in a microwave and it reacted like metal was in it. He still couldn't melt it on the stove or in the oven, at least not like regular snow. That's wild. I'm going to experiment because we have about 7 inches on the ground, 7, 8 inches on the ground. I'm going to go get some and do some experiments after the show. I'll try to film them. Hey, Kathy, good to see you in here. Really soon, we're going to watch the video. I made you a video on the World's Fair, and we're going to check that out in just a little bit. But until then, like and share, get this out, invite your friends, anyone you think might be interested in a video on the World's Fair. It's specifically about the earlier World's Fairs, and I don't want to give too much away about it, but so I want as much of it to be a surprise as possible so that we can talk about it afterwards. But anything you think of that you want to get into from the video, bring it up afterwards, and anything else. We usually have a lot of fun on Conspiracy Theory Night. I like this night. It's my favorite, and I hope you enjoy it too. But that's what we'll be talking about is conspiracy theories. And like I said, in just a minute, I'm going to play you that video on the World's Fair. Alice says if you snort it, you might get high. Dude, I don't know. Not if it has aluminum in it. I do have a microwave, so I can do this. I can do this experiment. I should do that live. That would be a good live. That would be a good something good to do live. Kind of suck if nothing happens, though. All right. So I'm going to get us ready to watch the video. And then we'll hang out. I'll peep out with you during it and watch it with you. And then, whoops. And then we'll get back to the conversation. Let me change the border here for our film border. and get the camera in here. This is all sloppy. I really wish this was smoother and more fluid like it was on Be Live, but oh well. It is what it is. So this is the video on the World's Fair. We're going to watch this with you guys, and then we'll be back afterwards. According to Wikipedia, a World's Fair is a large international exhibition designed to showcase achievements of nations. These exhibitions vary in character and are held in different parts of the world at a specific site for a period of time, ranging usually from 3 to 6 months. But what if that is just what we're being told in order to hide the true history of humanity and remove and reclaim the landmarks of an entire civilization that actually dwelled and thrived in these specific locations long ago? Well, tonight on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, we're going to look at some of the early World's Fairs and see what, if anything, they have in common, what they might have really represented or even took place to hide, and whether we're being told the truth about these events at all. Let's start by looking at the world's first World Fair in 1851, which was by far the biggest event of the 19th century and was held inside one spectacular and historically out-of-place building. The Crystal Palace that had sprung up in one of London's largest public spaces. Glittering in the sunlight, it was truly a sight to behold. The first prefabricated building of its kind. The enormous glass house incorporated 300,000 sheets of glass in the largest size then ever made. Held in position with some 24 miles of patent guttering. In just 9 months, this magnificent building had become a shining landmark on the capital's skyline. The completed building was a sight to behold. 562 meters long, 124 meters wide, and towering 30 meters high over Hyde Park. That's about 10 stories high. Most importantly, this colossal feat of engineering was finished on time. This amazing structure was supposedly built in 9 months with 19th century technology. And you could tell me it took 3 times as long to construct, and I'd still give you heavy side-eye. Just look at the intricacy and detail, and then imagine this being done with 19th century technology and horses and buggies. How did they manufacture, move, and assemble this structure at all, much less in just 9 short months? What if they didn't? What if it was actually always there? What if the World's Fairs were used as an excuse to demolish ancient architectural heritage left over from a hidden advanced society? These World's Fairs are famous for unexplained out-of-time architecture. These massive structures are all said to have been built rapidly for the purpose of these World's Fairs and then demolished afterwards. Why would they do that? Why create such beautiful buildings just to demolish them? And what inspired these creations that all seem to come from the same society, style, and time period? For more comparison, let's move ahead a bit in time to the World's Fair of 1893 in Chicago. You were told that the city of Chicago once held the World's Columbian Exhibition to publicly celebrate Columbus discovering America. The year of it was 1893, and the Great Economic Panic was already underway. But some 27 million people, a number equal to half of the entire United States population at the time, is said to have arrived from around the world to behold 200 newly erected buildings on 600 acres of reclaimed swamp, all of which had come to fruition within 2 years of its initial planning. All of this great white city, was said to be built in just 2 years. The official story is that the Great White City was built akin to a movie set, Facades were made not of stone, we are told, but a mixture of plaster, cement, and a jute fiber called staff, all of which was then painted white in order to give the Chicagoan Camelot its gleam. Apparently, 27 million people were said to have braved the frontier by boat, buggy, and train to converge upon Chicago in order to be wowed by a neoclassical city built of glue and popsicle sticks that was only made to look like the real thing. And we are expected to believe that developers and exhibitors spent 2 years building and millions upon millions of dollars investing in, which they would then just turn around and destroy. And there are absolutely no blueprints for the White City's construction, and documentation on the construction is thin. Except for a few rinky-dink shacks resembling put-up props, it doesn't seem that anything was really built here at all. And then they just destroyed it? Now let's look at the World's Fair of 1878 held in Paris, France. Just look at these buildings, the detail of them, the size, and how out of place in time they seem. Again, most of these structures were said to be built in impossibly short amounts of time, and money seemed to be no issue or concern. And again, you're seeing the same architectural and landscaping styles used. These World's Fair buildings all seem to share many characteristics. Fortunes were said to have been spent constructing all of this just for the fair, just to display it for a short time, and then demolish it. Now let's go ahead a little further to the U.S. In April 1904. St. Louis, Missouri opened its doors to the world for what was officially called the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, but was widely known as the St. Louis World's Fair. Millions of dollars had again been spent to build the 1,200-acre fairgrounds and its nearly 1,500 buildings, a huge scale that ended up delaying the opening by a year. During the 8 months the fair stayed open, it's said that nearly 20 million people paid a visit. Now on display were marvels of technology, agriculture, art, and history, and there were amusement rides and entertainment to be found in a section called the Pike. The fair introduced a huge audience to some relatively new inventions, which was common of these fairs, such as private automobiles, outdoor electric lighting, and the X-ray machine. And again, after the fair closed, nearly all of its structures were demolished within a short period of time. All of these impressive structures built for one event in the middle of the country? Why? Why build these beautiful structures complete inside and out? You could go into these buildings. They were real buildings. Why go to all of that trouble? Just look at the intricacy and detail of these structures. Consider then the time periods that we are discussing and the means that they would have had to construct them at the time, not to mention the massive expense. $1 million back then is like saying billions today. Why would so much money be invested into such extravagance just to demolish it afterwards in nearly every instance? These buildings are pieces of art. They are breathtaking, to say the least. All the way back to the very first World's Fair so far, they share this particular trait of unexplained and seemingly out of time and place structures. And in all instances, these beautifully detailed pieces of art were destroyed soon after the fairs ended. But why do these structures from different places and time periods seem to match each other so closely? Is it possible that all these different World's Fairs architecture seems to match each other for a particular reason? What if these structures were already there, and these early World Fairs were to explain these unexplainable and amazing pieces of architecture to the masses, and at the same time erase the existence of a previous advanced civilization? What if all these structures and the out-of-place structures that match these that stand to this day, what if all of these were already here? What if the World's Fairs were really held to explain away true human history in order to rewrite their own? To believe that these were all just put together as events and that such extravagance and money was just thrown around to make the impossible real is just insanity, in my opinion. No, I think it's much more likely that these structures already existed long before we settled in these lands, from a civilization whose history is being hidden from us. This has been a look into the truth of the early World's Fairs from Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and I'm sure we will be revisiting this topic very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon with a brand new topic. You see what I mean? There's a lot more there. I really could have kept going, but I really wanted to get it done and get it out. But there's more to go. There's a whole nother world that's opening up. Just what I'm implying in that video opens up different rabbit holes. But what I'm implying, in case it didn't come across, is that was already there. That was already there. It was their way of explaining it away and eliminating it. Yeah, exactly. Look, you're talking millions of dollars in 1850. So billions, a fortune today. It was a fortune then. It's just, you don't think of it that way because you're saying millions. Think of the time period. They spent tons of money. Those buildings, the intricacy, especially in that one I showed from the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, that was the inside. You could go in these buildings, and they claim that they did this in just short periods of time, built these intricate cities. They were cities. There'd be 200 buildings, all of them that detailed. And they claim they did this in like a year, 2 years, the Chicago World's Fair. They claim they put that whole city together in 2 years. The landscaping, the waterways, bullshit. There is no way you did that with those technologies. And then the attendance, I didn't even get into that. They say that the 1853 Chicago World's Fair, or 1893 rather, sorry, Chicago World's Fair had 27 million people attended. Think about the time period you're talking about. 27 million people came to Chicago? Really? From all around the world in 1893. During a time of extreme poverty in the United States. Ridiculous poverty. Matter of fact, they trained in a lot of immigrants during the World's Fair. Like I said, there were many other avenues I could have went down. These were used for many things as a distraction for many other things. And then when you get further down in the history of the World's Fairs, it becomes political. So it kind of changes direction. But I think the early ones, they all had this similar theme with these buildings, and the buildings match. And like Joan was saying, she loves old style architecture. But really, if you think about it, these buildings seem out of place. Think about like your state's Capitol building. It doesn't seem like it fits, or Washington, D.C. It just looks foreign, and these people theorize, and I think it's more convincing than we just all really love Roman architecture, that this civilization existed long before us, and we're advanced, and we're in some way wiped out. And then that history has been erased. Thousands of years of history maybe erased. But yeah, it definitely needs a follow-up, and it leads into a whole lot of other things. Like what it reminded me a lot of long time ago, on conspiracy theories and chill. We had a friend of the show on. I just went blank on his name. Tyler Klatnoff. Now, he completely left social media, so I don't know how to get in touch with him. But if I figure it out, I want to have him back on because he was telling me about these mud floods. And it's fascinating. So it's hard to describe it without showing you a picture of what I'm talking about. So let me do this. These old style buildings, right? So look, that's a church. That's St. Mary Magdalene Church in Omaha, Nebraska in 1908. Okay? See that? Pay attention. Look at the door. Pay real close attention to the door. Now I'm going to show you the same church. After excavations. See, the door is now a window. That was ground level. Now, I know you've seen a lot of old buildings like this where, see, that one's the same way, where the bottom level has different facade than the rest. And it seems to be, you know, different colored even or aged differently. Like there's many other examples of old buildings like that with these bottoms like this. Look like it was built on top of something else. So what they're saying is a long time ago, there were these mud floods where these were uncovered, these buildings. And I just thought that was fascinating. That's something that Tyler was talking about, that a lot of this stuff may have been uncovered because of that. And then they hid it the best way they knew how to explain it. Samuel says, Satanists have to show the world what they're going to do. Fed the truth to the World's Fair and no one saw it. Today it's easier to see the truth, but still so many refuse. Yeah, they just put it right in front of your face, you know, and just laugh at you. I think that's how I feel when I was making this, because you look at those buildings, like that glass structure, the Crystal Palace in the 1850 World's Fair. They claim that they built that in 9 months. It is enormous and very detailed. So, like I said in the video, you could have told me it took 3 times as long, and I'd still be like, "What? How the hell did you do that? How is that even possible?" Hey, Peyton. Nicole did the experiment. Snow didn't spark in the microwave, she said. She tried burning it, and it melted. Where you at, Nicole? What part of the country? Nicole said that there was snow that they tested in Colorado a few years ago that burned. You ever seen them do that with the processed cheese? It's creepy. Just like chemicals. It's all you're eating. Yeah, good thing it could have ruined your microwave, like Ron was saying. If it did have the aluminum in it. She's in Iowa. So you're pretty centralized. I'm talking on my ass. I don't know. I have no idea. Iowa. John says there are a lot of those old kinds of buildings in the cities around here, but they seem out of place, no? Don't you think? I mean, or is it just me? Like the Jefferson City Capitol building looks completely foreign. It just does not look like it belongs. Everything around it is completely different, like from another planet. This building looks. And then you think about the time that it was supposed to have been built, when they tell you they built it, and the technology that they had at that time. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine some of these were built when they say they were. To me, it's more logical and makes more sense that they were found structures. Ron's in the Matrix. Well, it's weird that you can still communicate with us. Lee says the pyramid in Georgia and South America are only uncovered at the tops. Most is still underneath soil. Yeah, because there's been these events and massive amounts of soil have been displaced. And I don't know. The mud flood theory is very interesting, but that's where this was leading. It was leading to that, which leads you to another rabbit hole, Tartaria, which is the theory about this hidden civilization. And then something I left out completely is in these early world fairs, they released a lot of mind-blowing technology in big dumps every World's Fair. And it's just kind of weird. Like the Chicago's World's Fair had the first moving sidewalk in 1893. You know, it's just weird. And then a lot of Tesla technology was unveiled at the 1904, I believe. There was a lot there. I didn't know where to grab a hold of it. So I just bit off a chunk. We'll definitely go back to it. Yeah, Brent was saying, like I said, later on, it got political. And there was a whole different story about Reagan making it impossible for the USA to be in it and giving China the technology, but we hold the key, apparently. I don't know what that part means, but yeah, there was something to do with, what was it? Brent told me earlier. I forgot, though. Are we talking about awesome corn songs? Chutes and Ladders? Awesome corn song. Well, see, look, that's another thing that bothers me about these old buildings. How high the ceilings are, how big the doorways are. That's something fascinating that they all have in common all around the world. Very, very large doorways. It's weird. It seems a ridiculous expense to go to in your architecture, and for it to be that common all around the globe. And just like when I was covering these 4 World's Fairs that I picked in the video, they're from different places around the world. There was London, France, and 2 in the United States. All the buildings looked the same. They were all the same kind of architecture, extremely detailed, laid out in the same ways. It's just too much. This is something that I have to put on the poll because Paul sent me a fantastic video about this. There is a theory, and it's a very good one, that the New Yorker Hotel is actually a Tesla tower. That they built that hotel around a Tesla tower that they built for Nikola Tesla. And Tesla worked for the government. Interesting theory. And I want to look into it. And if Paul's here, he can share that video link with you that turned me on to this theory. But I'm going to put that on the poll for sure. But any other ones that you want to see on the poll, add them in the comments, and I'll try to find them and put them on there. But the poll's always open-ended. So when I put the poll up, anything you want to add to it that you'd like to see in the future, add it on there. And it could win. You never know. Ron painted to Michelangelo. See? Could be. That's my theory on everything almost. Could be. I don't know. I know they're lying to me. I know they're hiding something. I know that this doesn't make a lot of sense. You're talking about that amount of money being spent on something temporary that's only going to be up for 3 to 6 months. Brent says quantum physics can only be duplicated in short distance. That is why there has to be so many of those repeaters. You know, you're not supposed to say that word. That's pretty interesting, right? Why? It's so great. Why can't you talk about it? God forbid you say something negative about it. We're trying to convince everyone that it's fantastic. Riley's here. Hey, good to see her. Lisa says Q. She wants to talk about Q. Or maybe she's talking about that to add to the poll. I have an article that I wrote about what I think of that. And it's fantastic on the ShawnYankeyShow.com. Check it out. That's our website, which I need to pay more attention to. I really need to start putting more content over there, especially since right now the videos aren't landing over there. I got to get that fixed because we had to move. We got another strike on the YouTube channel, and if we get one more, they wipe the whole channel and erase all the videos. So we had to move to the sister channel until it's safe. Oh, it's mind-blowing. I live in Missouri too. Marie's talking about the area. She was saying during the video that she goes there all the time to Forest Park. There's literally like nothing there now. And you look at these pictures, it's just amazing. And the detail, it's just too much. And then some of the buildings, and they did this with a lot of them around the world, actually, a lot of these World's Fairs. Some of the buildings are still standing. Not everything was demolished. You won't like it. You won't like it. Because really all I have to give you is my observation and my opinion on what I saw. What I think happened was a psyop that was manipulated. And it had truth in it, and a lot of value came out of it. But what they used it for was to alleviate resistance to what happened, what took place, where the situation we find ourselves in right now. If that wouldn't have been going on, and the most aggressive about rights and, you know, the don't tread on me types wouldn't have been lulled into a false sense of security, trusting a plan, I don't know how it would have been. I don't think it would have been as easy. I hope, I'd like to think that there would have been resistance put up to it. But I think everybody kind of let things slide. At least I saw them let things slide because they were like, well, there's an agenda and a plan. And we just need to be trusting of that. And it worries me anytime we get into the hero worship. Like, I came around in the end, warmed up to Trump, and still think it's bad to latch on to any one hero, to hinge anything on one person. Because, like when we had Nick on recently, it was very big in that movement. And now you're seeing it splinter like I did with the Bernie Sanders movement, because it ended up hinging on Trump. I told you wouldn't like it. But I think it was great in a lot of ways. And there was truth in it. What I think it was, and this is just my theory, is a quantum computer that was being used by the alphabetical agencies for the purposes that I was saying, to give us something to chase our tails, a carrot on a stick, false hope. The same thing that like Bernie Sanders was to those that have my ideology politically. He appealed to us and got us focused on something where we weren't actually doing anything, and it was completely controlled, and we could be monitored and, you know, put ourselves on nice, neat little lists. I think it's something similar to that for the other personality types. And then I agree with Tracy. God has the plan. That's where my faith lays. That's what I'm trusting in. And I feel that's the best way to be as well, because we're in a Luciferian agenda. We're under a Luciferian attack globally. That's who's really in power. But yeah, I came around to liking Trump. I didn't at first, but I didn't before he was president. It had nothing to do with him being president. I just didn't like him. But I warmed up to him, especially when he showed his backbone towards the end. I really warmed up to him a lot more then. I was glad there was a president that would take a stand. Bernie's better than Biden, but I think Bernie helped you get Biden. I think he was in on that. I think he played us. I really do. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about that. And I really think that's what happened. I think he was in on it. It didn't happen to him. He was part of the theatrics. Carrie says putting too much faith in man is a fault, even when our hearts are good. Have faith in God. Yeah, that's how I feel. And politics on the national stage, there would have to be so much reform and change before I felt that you could really vote your way out on the national level. I think it's theatrics, and that they play us against each other, play both sides against the middle. I think the best way to be involved is locally and in your communities and things like that. Pay attention to the national stage, of course, and I think it's completely manipulated. And if CJ was here, he'd let you know right away that they select these people. I think that Trump threw a wrench in their little plan. And I think the way that they rig elections has always been through manipulating public perception. Never like they just did, outright rigging the shit out of it, but usually by manipulating public perception and swaying the narrative. That's how they've controlled it. But I think Trump was the one that threw a curveball at that. I think they overplayed their hand. That's how I think we ended up with President Trump. That's my opinion. But like CJ's here, he would tell you they're all selected. And yeah, I agree with you. Bolshevik Bernie was in on it. 100%. 100%. Second time, 100%. I think so the first time. My buddy Paul, my partner on the Morning Yank, he thinks that Bernie had a good heart the first time till he had his little walk with Obama. I don't know. I think he knew the whole time he was selling us a bunch of bullshit. I think he did. Lisa said, I agree to the fact that Bernie was a pawn. Absolutely. I got tricked by him twice, though. I own it. It happened. Second time, though, it wasn't really him. I believed in us. We almost did it. We did do it. That's what makes me mad. We did do it. Did it twice. He would have won that second time. There's no reason to drop out. Hey, I find that very hard to argue with, CJ. I find that very hard to argue with. There's a lot of evidence for that. Carrie says he really admires Trump. A lot of people do. A lot of really good friends of mine do. And like I said, I came around to liking him in the end. And that might have been what Tracy was talking about. I appreciate his openness. Lolly agrees. After Bernie walked with Obama, he started reading their script. I agree that he changed then, visibly. There was a visible change in the man after that. But I just find it hard to believe that an insider it had been in politics as long as him believed that he could take over the system from the inside. Really believed it. I think he knew how it worked. I think he knew the game. That's what I think. That's why it makes it hard for me to believe that he was naive enough to think he could really do it. After we saw what happens, he had to know all those things. He works with the Democrats all the time. You think it was the first time he ever heard that they choose their nominee in the back room, smoke-filled back rooms over bourbon and cigars? No, he had heard that before. Hey, that's true. That's true. Trump never did have his black eye moment. A lot of them had that black eye moment. I got to put that on the poll. The black eye thing. A lot of these elites have this black eye thing. A lot of them. I'm trying to think of a list off the top of my head. Popes, all kinds of people. President Bush, what was that? His daughter's on The View now. Damn it. He's a very popular senator. McCain, he had the black eye moment. A lot of them had the black eye thing. Ron said we select them on the local, then the powers that be see who they can buy off and then select the ones that will do their bidding. We've come to a collective on rules for running and rules that we the people want to see, not big corporations, power backers, owners of everything. We have common enemy. That's what we need to realize. You know, if you just follow the money, it all leads to the same people. And they are sucking humanity dry. And we could put a stop to it if we would unite against them. And then we could bicker over our little differences later. I think that'd be the best way to go. Instead of political, you know, taking their inch forward and 4 inches back every 4 years. It'd be really hard to suck me back into that. Right? In his little mittens, and then makes a bunch of money for the Democratic Party. Isn't he great? So great. And I'm sure that now he's the budget chair, the billionaires will start paying their fair share of taxes, like Paul was saying. Actors on a stage, absolutely. Marie said Clinton had the black eye moment too. Hillary? Or Bill? Or both? All right. Well, I want to remind you guys what's coming up the rest of this week real quick. So tomorrow night is rant night. We're going to rant and get our frustrations out. But then Friday night, I'm super excited. Ty Nightfall is coming back to the show. And he's a favorite of mine. I know he's a favorite of a lot of yours. So that's going to be really big night to come to the Shawn Yankey Show. Don't miss that Friday night. But yeah, tomorrow's rant night. So show up for that. And there might be plenty to rant about. I don't know yet, but I may have more to rant about than I even already did. But I always manage to find something to get upset about on rant night. Right? I can't wait. I'm excited. It's going to be great. I always have a great time with Ty. So that's going to be great. And then next Friday, Philip Palmer is coming back on the show. Philip is a Bigfoot and Sasquatch researcher and hunter. Goes out into the field and looks for him and researches Sasquatch. But he's also into the paranormal and does a lot of research in that as well. And we're going to focus on that 100%. So it's going to be great too. So we got a lot coming up this month for you guys. And come back for all of that. But I had a great time hanging out with you guys tonight and talking about conspiracy theories with you. Come back later, here in a little bit. Once I get my dinner ready, I like to watch this back. And we have a watch party. So if you missed it, if you were late and you want to catch it, or if you just want to hang out with us and have fun watching it again, come back to the watch party on my timeline on Facebook. And we'll be hanging out, watching it while I have my dinner before I go to bed tonight. But I got to get up early for work, so we got to end the show. I hate this part when we say goodbye. But thank you guys, and have a great night. And I will see you tomorrow night for Rant Night.